A haunted sailboat rescues a fisherman from mysterious fog, but ends up trapping and torturing him. The film opens with a young man headed on a fishing trip on his motorboat. Unfortunately, a thick fog spreads around his boat, prompting him to turn off his engines and wait instead of getting lost. Not long after, his boat comes closer to an abandoned sailboat, which has him so curious that he hops on it to check if anyone's present on it. To his luck, the boat is loaded with essentials and no human presence. He finds a functioning radio there, using which he tries to make contact, but no one responds. He decides to go back to his boat to grab his stuff, but becomes startled when he finds his boat vanished, hinting at a paranormal activity. He goes back inside and grabs the binoculars to see around, but the thick fog blocks his sight. The next day, all the fog clears up, allowing the man to use a map and navigate his path, which seems impossible since he's lost in the vast sea. Following this, he hears some noises coming from a wobbly bathroom door, which keeps shutting on its own, so the man opens it wide and comes back up on the deck and works on unfolding the sails to get the boat moving using wind force. He notices trouble in the mechanics of the sails, but it gets fixed by itself. Later, he uses the radio once again, but loses hope of any contact. Spending his leisure time while steering the boat, he tries to pee in the sea, but the sails push him off the railing, but he saves himself and goes to the bathroom, where the wobbly door shuts on its own and gets jammed. Despite his best attempts to open it by cracking the jammed doorknob, he fails miserably. He starts panicking when he hears a cargo vessel heading in the boat's direction. The vessel tries to contact the boat to move out of their way, but since the man is trapped, he fails to do so. He flashes a piece of cloth from the window for the cargo vessel to see, but the deck blocks the view. The man takes his hand out and finds a thick red rope, which he pulls inside the bathroom first to tie a knot, and then throws in the sea for it to get tangled with the propeller and slow down the boat. His experiment does work out, but his sloppiness causes the remaining rope to get looped around his neck and hang him. He nearly dies, but frees himself by using some kind of stick to push his neck out of the loop. Simultaneously, the vessel slightly budges into the boat to pave its way ahead, causing the boat to sustain damage and the man to hit his head against the ground. As things haven't gotten worse already, we see water filling inside the boat after the damage. The man again tries to slow down the boat's speed by loosening the sail ropes and using those to fold the sails. As the water level inside the boat gradually increases, the man gets thirsty and tries to drink water from the shower head, but it's clogged and non-functional. He also finds the red rope chewed off from the front and is no longer able to hold the propellers to slow down the boat. The man dozes off for a while on the small floor space, but is immediately woken up by the water that has started to fill in the bathroom too. He tries to drink that water, but the drains flush the water out. He loses his temper, believing someone is outside messing with him by purposefully spilling water on the floor, so he yells at them too. With passing time, the water level increases inside the tiny bathroom, so he drinks it with his hands once again, but immediately spits it out, realizing it's seawater and that the boat has a leak. He uses a small cup to fill it with water and spill it outside to lower the increasing water level, but soon realizes how pointless it is. Things get worse when the strong wind directs the boat in the direction of a frightening sea storm. In the next scene, we see rain pouring hard on the boat and thunder striking everywhere. The boat tips to one side and nearly drowns, but the man finds a razor blade, which he uses to cut the sail rope near the window by extending his arm outside of it and preventing the boat from spiraling out of control. He ends up cutting his fingers in the attempt and panicking to see the warm blood rushing down his hands. He successfully chops the rope and shuts the window to prevent more water from coming in. Now submerged in water, the man sleeps unwillingly due to weakness. The next morning, he wakes to his body gone numb, so he exercises his arms and legs. He then uses full force to physically break open the door with his feet, but it doesn't work out. He dives in the water to repeat the same thing, but soon notices that the doorknob is locked. When he unlocks it, the door breaks open with one push as if it were never jammed. He runs to the deck and breathes fresh air after being trapped for so long. The deck is also filled with water along with the rooms inside it, so he decides to fix things in desperate attempts at survival. Upon looking, he finds empty water cans, So he walks back inside, patches his razor-cut finger with a wet piece of cloth, and brings the broken door out on the deck. There, he ties those cans on one side of the door with ropes and attaches a long rope to its tail, which it ties to the boat and throws the door into the sea, making another small vessel to float left and right to observe the situation of the boat. He goes back in once again and fills a grocery bag with a couple of essentials and a water bottle. Along with the bag, he jumps on the door and uses a broken paddle to distance himself from the boat. From afar, he notices the boat slowly sinking due to the damage. He returns to the boat and uses a hand pump to drain the water through the vents. Since it's time-consuming, he goes inside the boat to find another alternative. Strangely, there is a small motor and a UPS battery. The man knows the mechanics, so he combines the two to make a suction motor with a water pipe in front, which does the work for him by draining all the water from the boat and throwing it back into the sea via the pipe. He now takes down the broken sail and uses its cloth to patch up the damaged body from outside by using glue. Eventually things work out and the boat stops sinking. He then uses the same UPS and motor to start the boat's engine. The boat freakishly starts working on a small battery. As time passes, the man eats some stored bread to gain strength and once again gets ready to fix the sails. He immediately stops as he looks at another sea vessel crossing by at a faraway distance. He unties the door's rope and dives into the sea, from where he swims his way to the door and hops on it to make his way to the vessel faster. A weirdly unbelievable event takes place when the boat sharply follows the man and bumps into the door, causing the man to jump in the water before the boat crashes into the door. When he floats back up, he finds the door vanished in the vast sea. He also misses his shot at getting rescued by the sea vessel. The day turns into night, but the man refuses to hop back on the boat. He ends up getting circled by sea creatures with fins, which makes him think he's being surrounded by sharks, but they turn out to be friendly dolphins. Before he can come to think of a way to use them for his benefit, they swim away, forcing him to jump back on the boat since the water is getting cold. Once on the deck, he starts shivering in fever, so he takes a torch with him and looks around the boat to find something warm. Luckily, there's a thick blanket, which he wraps around his entire body and sleeps in the room. Much to his annoyance, he wakes up to the room door jammed the next morning. He doesn't waste his time struggling to open it for some reason, and instead checks out the attached bathroom. There, he comes across a small hatch behind the toilet. Upon opening it, he finds out a small but tall storage unit. He stuffs himself in there and climbs up to find some dusty food cans and a dagger with blood smeared on it. He immediately puts it back and tries to open its window, but it turns out to be jammed as well. Things keep getting worse for the man paranormally, because this time, the hatch closes on its own. The man tries opening it, but it gets stuck as if someone has locked it from outside. The man feels violated and has a breakdown while being stuck in such a small space. Soon, he notices a reflection of buildings in the window glass, realizing the boat has come to a dry end at last. However, the boat is headed towards the shore at full speed, so the man prepares to tie in a crash while screaming for help. The entire plot of the film twists when the boat takes a turn near the shore on its own and shuts its engine. It also unlocks all the doors, allowing the man to escape. The man, now fearing someone's presence, slowly walks out of the boat and jumps to the dry land, which appears to be an undeveloped utopia with no human life. The man picks up a metal bar and looks around the places to see if anyone's there, but he finds no one. His focus shifts back to the boat, which turns itself on and navigates its way back into the sea. The man keeps walking straight until he loses sight of the boat for a minute due to a dome. He immediately runs to an elevated area to see where the boat goes, but the disappearance of an entire boat sends shivers down his spiral. After lost on a land and wandering around for some hours, he hears some human chatter, following which he ends up back in the place where he first sat on his motorboat for his fishing trip. The film ends with the mystery of the boat for the audience to crack open. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you for being a part of Black's Movie Recaps. If these tales of mystery and intrigue sent shivers down your spine, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Black's Movie Recap for more bone-chilling narratives. Stay tuned, and until next time, stay captivated.